Good afternoon, all. We welcome you all in this webinar. And you may be aware, we all are aware that this aspect of Thursday meeting is going on, and it has become a legend in the history of homeopathic education. And in spite of the today's festival session, and the people being engaged, some of you have joined and many are not able to join, but they may be listening later on also on the YouTube. So today we are going to discuss a very important topic, and today being the birth anniversary of Lord Dhanvantri, the founder of the Ayurvedic system of medicine, where we see that every aspect of the life is considered. And in these aspects, it is important to understand that how we are surviving in this universe. The survival is very important because we are faced with so many odds, so many weather changes, so many problems, and we are always surrounded by the problems. And what we talk about the pollution and what we talk about the season change, it is a constant, and how it can be, whether it can be avoided or not. So we have to learn living with the climatic changes. We have to learn living with the pollution, because pollution is not going to end. It is a part and parcel of the nature, because we ourselves are polluting the universe. We want the fresh thing, but when we deliver the thing out as an excretory from the excretory organs, they become the pollutant. And this is the cyclic order the things are going. We are making, the plants are giving us the oxygen and they are receiving the carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is a pollutant for us. So every aspect of the life we have got the cyclic pattern where we are polluting and where we are purifying. So purification and pollution are the alternating factor for the universe, and it is also related to survival and remaining healthy. It is a matter of understanding that we can draw between the pollution and purification. So it is today we are going to discuss and understand the meaning of the pollution, the effect of the climatic change, our understanding, and where as a homeopathic physician we may be able to contribute towards removing the problems created out of the pollution, and what is the meaning of the pollution it is there. So friends, today we are going to discuss a very vital topic, and this topic is dedicated to Lord Dhanvantri for his kindness, for his grace, giving us the opportunity to learn and practice medicine as a religion. Practice of medicine is definitely a religion, and we have to understand, we have to be religious, become religious to become a practitioner. And nobody can practice medicine without the bent of the religious mind. So today we are, and that's why I think that Dhanteras and Dhanvantri, they are combined. What he gets, he benefit more who can deliver the more. So friends, destruction is the man's will. Destruction is the man's will. We want that what we destroy, it is our will. And prevention is also our will. So we want to destroy, we want to prevent. It depends on our choice. It is a choice. It is a matter of the choice to live between the destruction and the prevention. We can destroy our life and we can modify our life. This is in our hand. This is in the hand of the man itself, because we have been provided with the very important faculty of the mind. Very important faculty of the mind. And this faculty of the mind is very important for our survival, because we as a human being, we are most vulnerable to the diseases and the climatic effects. Whereas we see all other animals, they are not exposed like that. They have they wander and lives in the jungle along with the pollutions. You see the dogs and the other animals living in the polluted area, and they are not getting affected very frequently. But we human beings are affected very frequently because we have the choice, we have the mind. Mind gives you the desire and aversion. So desire and aversions are very important factors that makes your will. So friends, this will is an important factor for us because with this will, our desire, because it is one of the faculty of the mind which comes out of our emotions and understandings. Emotion and understandings modify your will. So friends, it is important moment to understand the destruction. The destructions we are ourselves responsible for this. We want to become the good man, but if you don't want have the will, courage, you cannot become the big man and the healthy man. The health is the choice. So, World Health Organization has given a very good, important message that air pollutant is the world's greatest environmental health risk. Why? This is very important because it is killing 7 millions of people in 2014. So you see the number, how many people are getting born and how many people are getting perished in this environmental change. And compared to 0.4 million deaths due to the malaria, only 0.4 million deaths are due to the malaria, which is of the viral nature, malarial parasites nature, whereas the number here is very high, so much multiple high with the air pollution. So deteriorating air quality will most affect the elderly, children, people with chronic health and expectant mothers. And during this, I have taken this topic during the period we are undergoing the climatic change. Just now the rainy season has passed and we are ready to enter into the winter season. And this change brings you a differences in the air, nature of the air, quality of the air, or content of the air. It gets changed. So air pollutant is the world's greatest environmental factor. And you see the figure. A study on the air pollution suggests that more than half of the US population live in the area with potentially dangerous air pollution, and about 6 out of the 10 of the top cities of air pollution in the USA are located in the state of California. So the world's largest and the most advanced country is having such a vast effect of the pollution. And more congested we are living in the metropolitan city, big city, they are more and more polluted. Another report suggests that more than 5.5 million people die prematurely without completing their complete age each year due to the air pollution, with over half of those deaths occurring in the China and India. In the face of future climate change, scientists have urged stronger emission control to avoid worsening air pollution and the associated aggravations of health problems, especially in more populated regions of the world. Is it possible? No, because we are striving for that modernization. We are striving for the technology, and technology is bound to produce and pollute your air. So the two things cannot remain combined together. So just it is a big challenging situation for all of us, and big thoughts that we have to think about it. Air pollution and climate change are so closely related as a driving climate change, the main cause of carbon dioxide emissions. The extraction and burning of fossil fuels is also a major source of the air pollution. So climate, during every climatic change, we are throughout the year we are undergoing the different type of the climate. Even during the same season, you see the climatic changes. And during these climatic changes, the air gets polluted and there is a production of the carbon dioxide. We ourselves as a human being are producing carbon dioxide. What to say about the technology? What to say about the other pollutants? We ourselves producing carbon dioxide. So how we are going to avoid the carbon dioxide? No, we cannot avoid. They are the part of the life and they are. So learning to live with the air pollutant. Air pollutants contribute to climate change by affecting the amount of incoming sunlight that is reflected or absorbed in the atmosphere with some pollutant warming and the other cooling and the earth. What we see today, we are getting more and more information about the vitamin D deficiency and why the vitamin D deficiency is being caused because we are not exposed to the sun. And why the sun is, we are not exposed because sun is being caught hold by the carbon dioxide. They are not allowed to reach to the earth, to our place. So this is greatest difficulty here. So we have to understand it. And the short-lived climate pollutant. This is very important. SLCPS, which includes in the air, it includes the methane, black carbon, ground level ozone, and sulfate aerosol. They have significant impact on the climate. Black carbon and methane is particularly are among the top contributors to global warming after the carbon dioxide. So beside carbon dioxide, there are the methanes, there are the black carbon, ground level ozone, and sulfate aerosol. They are also very significant impact on the climatic changes. Friends, at the first WHO Global Conference on Air Pollution and Health in 2018, WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom called air pollution a silent public health emergency. Silent public health emergency. Very important message and alarming situations that we had just 2 years back. And still today we have not alerted, we are not understanding it. Approximately 7 million premature deaths annually are due to the effect of air pollution, and about 4 million of which are died with the deaths are due to the ambient outdoor air pollution. So, and beyond the shortening lives, air pollution can negatively impact our day-to-day life, causing respiratory illness and leading to days missed of working and the school. What we see, why we are missing the college schools nowadays for the last 6 months, schools are closed. No, students are daring, the parents are not daring to go, let their children go to the school. While we are going to the office or our classes, we are getting feared because not only because of the COVID, also because of the pollution. Because pollution and the infections are closely related. Pollution includes the viral and they encourages the viral infection. And children are especially vulnerable to the impact of air pollution, exposure to air pollution in early childhood, when the lungs are still developing, can lead to the reduced lung capacity that persists throughout the adult. What is air pollution? So, it can be classified into two sections, visible and invisible air pollution. Air pollution can be defined as an alterations of air quality that can be characterized by measurement of chemical, biological, and physical air pollutants in the air. So measurable area. There are something which cannot be measured. And air pollution means undesirable presence of impurity or the abnormal rise in the portion of some constituents of the atmosphere. So pollution is there. You cannot remove the carbon dioxide from there. But the limit, crossing the limit, it is important to understand. So air pollutants are visible and invisible. And there are the local, which concerns the quality of ambient air within the radius of the few kilometers. Then regional pollutions like acid rain, photochemical reactions and degradations of water quality at distance of few kilometers to 1,000 kilometers. And then global depletions of the ozone layer and global warming caused by emissions of greenhouse gases, mainly the carbon dioxide. The effect of the air pollution, some things are visible and some things are invisible. At the local, and this can be decided between the three patterns: local patterns, like where we are living, within few radius kilometer of us, and then like that we are in one place, then we are in the state, and on the global level. So every level there are the air pollutions can be observed. The effect of the climatic change. What happens when the climate change? The higher temperature gets increasing and decreasing pattern. You see the children are suffering from the sneezing, cough and colds, and frequent lung problems. They are only because the transient and the changed pattern of the temperature, increases in precipitation pattern, rising sea levels, weather-related natural disasters, and increased drought and decreased food security. These factors are very impacted with the climatic changes. Climatic changes and the health. The climatic change affects the social and environmental determinants of the health: clean air, safe drinking water, sufficient food, and secured shelter. And between 2030 to 2050, climate change is expected to cause approximately 250,000 additional deaths per year from malnutrition, malaria, diarrhea, and heat stroke. What is the future? What is the future? By 30 and 50, the climatic change will be very disastrous for the human society. The direct damage cost to health is estimated to be between $2.2 to 4 billion per year by 2030. Area with weak health infrastructure, mostly in developing countries, will be less able to cope without assistance to prepare and respond. So how we can prepare? This is important question at the individual level, at the government level, and at the universal level. And being a practitioner, we are concerned with getting prepared at the individual, preventing our immune and increasing our immunity power. We have to understand, and reducing emissions of greenhouse gases, though through better transport, food and energy use, choice can result in improved health, particularly through there are the contributions that you can the emissions from the gaseous emissions from the vehicles or the factory, they can be reduced to some extent, but they cannot be removed permanently. And human activity, our own activity, particularly the burning of fossil fuels, have released sufficient quantity of carbon dioxide. What we do? We use the gas, we use the to cook our food. We exhale the carbon dioxide. So they are the contributory factors. In the last 130 years, the world has warmed up approximately by 0.85 degrees Celsius. Each of the last 3 decades have been successfully warmer than any preceding decade since 1850. So how much is the temperature, average temperature? Now that we are seated in the November climate, I recall my earlier days when I was a childhood. During the winter, during the beginning of the winter, we used to wear the very warm clothes, cover ourselves with the sweater, kumbals, blankets, so many things. But now we are still not using the warm things. Why? Because we are still feeling warm. So a level of the warming is a global warming is going on. And what will happen? And then sudden rise of the temperature and sudden fall of the temperature is being experienced. Sea levels are also rising, glaciers are melting, and precipitation patterns are changing. Extreme weather events are becoming more intense and frequent. Impact of climate changes on the health. Global warming may bring some localized benefits such as fewer winter deaths uh, to temperate climate and increased food production in certain areas. The overall health effects of changing climate are overwhelming negative. Climatic change affects many of the social and environmental determinants of health, clean air, safe drinking water, sufficient food, and the secure. So these are the impacted that we can understand. Then extreme heat, extreme high temperature contribute directly to deaths from cardiovascular and respiratory disease, particularly among the elderly people. The high temperature and sunstrokes, they are the high temperature. Then high temperature also rises the level of the ozone and other pollutant in the air and exacerbate cardiovascular and respiratory disease. Pollen and other aeroallergen levels are also higher in extreme heat. So this can trigger asthma, which affects around 300 million people. This is the figure. Ongoing temperature increase are expected to aggravate this burden. So what we see, the impact on our health, we are becoming more and more we are receiving more and more cardiovascular diseases, more and more respiratory disorders, and these disorders are becoming more prominent than the gastric disorder. Along with the gastric disorder, the three basic problems that we are facing: the gastric disorder. Almost every patient who come to our clinic, they complain of the gas and the stool, irregular stool. Then they have the breathing problem, difficulty in breathing, or they are complete. So three major illness are responsible because of the climate not getting accommodated with the yes. Then there are the other patterns also, weather related natural disaster, variable rainfalls pattern. See, the rainfall, it is also changed. Globally, the number of reported weather-related natural disaster has more than tripled since 1960. Every year, these disaster result in over 60,000 deaths, mainly in the developing countries. Rising water level and increasing extreme weather events will destroy home, medical facility, and other essential services. More than half of the world population live within 60 kilometers of the sea and the river. Because we have learned to live by the side of the water, because we need water for the life. But with the water level are getting changes, you see the people are flooded every year. The most of the country, most of the area are flooded with the water. So rising rain patterns and the rising waterfalls are very. And during these periods, what we see, there are a lot of the mental disorders and lot of the communicable disease, the different type of the diarrhea or other illness we can see. Wide range of the problems are there. Natural disasters and they have the rainfall pattern supply. Although we are living with the water, but we don't get the fresh water. A lack of safe water can compromise hygiene and increase the risk of diarrhea disease, which kills over 5 lakh children aged under the 5 years every year. In extreme cases, water scarcity, this is also a big problem, lead to the drought and famine. By the late 21st century, the climate change is likely to increase the frequency and intensity of drought at regional and the global scale. Then flood and extreme precipitations are also increasing in the frequency and intensity. We are trying to control the water system, but the flood is not getting controlled. Well, flood contaminate freshwater supply, heightens the risk of waterborne disease, and create breeding ground for disease-carrying insects such as mosquitoes. They also cause drowning and physical injury. Flood is not only producing the infections, there are the cases of the drowning and physical injury and damage to the whole home and disrupt the supply of the medical and health services. So, with every time, everywhere, we are living in the problems of it. Then a rising temperature, variable pressure, it decreases the production of the staple food. What we see some year and slowly what food we are the wheat, the rice, they are getting disturbed or decreased. This will increase the prevalence of malnutrition because you will not get the sufficient staple food and undernutrition which currently causes 3.1 million deaths every year. So these are the figures. They are very alarming. Pattern of infections. What climatic conditions strongly affect waterborne disease and disease transmitted through the insects, the snails, and other cold-blooded animals. Changes in climate are likely to lengthen the transmission season of important vector-borne diseases and to alter their geographic range. Then malaria is strongly influenced by the climate. Transmitted by Anopheles mosquito, malaria kills over 4 lakhs people every year, mainly under the children of the 5 years old. The Aedes mosquito vectors of dengue is also highly sensitive to the climatic conditions, and a study suggests that climate change is likely to continue to increase exposure of the dengue. So, what we can do about the getting some immunity? I am presenting these facts only because as a physician, as a homeopath, we can think what we can manage, what we can contribute, and who are at the risk. All populations will be affected by climate change, but some more vulnerable than us. Everyone is not getting affected. This is big answer. Children, in particularly living in the poor countries, are among most vulnerable to the resulting health risk and will be exposed longer to the health consequences. The health effects are also expected to be more severe for elderly people and people with infirmities and pre-existing medical conditions. Areas with weak health infrastructure, mostly in developing countries, will be the least able to cope with assistance to prepare and respond. Now, what is required to change the climate plan or climate change and health partnership? We have to work in together to coordinate with partner agency and ensure the health properly represented in the climatic change agenda. Then awareness rising. We have to promote and let the people know how we can survive, to provide and disseminate information on the threats that climate change presents to human health and opportunity to promote health while cutting carbon emissions. Then science and evidences. This is the backup that you have to coordinate review of the scientific evidence on the link between climate change and health and develop a global research agenda. Then support and implementation of the public health response to the climate change. We need the support to assist those people who don't understand and who are not able to. So we have to support them. They have the right to live. So building capacity to reduce health vulnerability to the climate change and promote health while reducing the carbon emissions. Now the biggest question, why does all members in the same family, society are not affecting equally to the climate? Because climate is there for everyone, but everyone is not getting the same problem. And some of them, they remain healthy even in this big problem. Why does the symptoms recur even after administering the similimum? Sometimes the symptoms are recurring, relapsing symptoms are there. Some symptoms comes again and again. And then in present day, we frequently come across conditions like carcinoma in children. What might be the reason for it? If carcinoma is not supposed to be the disease for the children, this is supposed to be the disease for the elderly people. But why now the frequently we are observing the carcinoma in the children? And by considering peculiar characteristic symptoms in a drug, we give remedy and the case gets cured in one person, but When another person comes with the same complaint, we give the same remedy, but the cure is not attaining. Why? We have cured one patient and it is not affecting the other. Whether it is the wrong prescriptions or the wrong way or the wrong principle. So what should be the principles? What are the questions? So this is the big question and the answer. This means there is something that makes us all happening possible. Something behind, and something called as genes by someone which makes person susceptible, and we homeopaths called it the miasma. Something back in the background there are some miasmas. Miasma is a pollution. Miasma theory is typically associated with the spread of contagious disease. And some academics in the early 19th century suggested that theory extended to the other conditions as well as one could become obese by inhaling the odor of the food. The miasma theory was accepted from the ancient time in Europe and China. The theory was eventually given up by the scientists and physicians after 1880. And it was replaced by the germ theory. The miasma theory was replaced by the germ theory. The Hippocrates himself has discussed about the miasma. He has talked about the miasma. He has talked about the pollutions because at that time he was not aware of the germs. But when the germs theory came up, this theory was replaced. So whether it is lost or whether it is finished, no, it cannot be finished. The specific disease, there are the two factors. Now we can see that there are the miasma factor and there are the germ factors which is also still persisting today. Dr. Samuel Hahnemann used the word miasma. It is prevalent during his time with the meaning to express morbific emanations from present organic matter. Hahnemann picked up the term which was used in the medical literature of his time, but he adorned the word with a special connotation and denotation using accordingly. So miasma was not new to Dr. Hahnemann, and during the time of the Hahnemann, it was prevalent. People were aware, but Dr. Hahnemann added and contributed and made a detailed study of the miasma. And now the viral moments, the moment of infection. We have to understand this moment of infection, the period of which the whole organism is exposed to the miasma until its internal development is complete. We are living within the pollutions. We are within the, when we are seated in our wherever place, there are a lot of we are surrounded by the infections. But every moment, these infections are trying to enter into our life, come inside into our life. They want to come into it. But the more we are strongly fighting it back. So there are the moment of infections that is the breaking point, external element and coming out as a development. So manifestation. Every miasma manifests according to its activity. All the chronic elements owing their origin to a certain skin disease or expression had their fundamental origin firmly established at the chronic miasma. This means their parasitical existence in human organism goes on continually strengthening and is increasing irrespective of healthy lifestyle, diet and the robust health. When the miasma enters into your life, they try to build up their own domain, own kingdom, and they try to capture your vital area. And whatever the change you are adopting, the disease has become chronic, and now it has been established, and it is difficult to be removed. Susceptible and the moment. So susceptibility and the moment of infection is very important. Susceptibility and the moment of infection. The moment you break down, the moment you are overpowered by the dominating power within you. When we are becoming diseased, the two powers are living within our life. One the vital power and other the miasma power. So when miasma power dominates our power, so there is a moment, and that moment is known as the susceptibility. one of the most beautiful truths about life on the earth is that we always have the freedom to completely change our lives in the moment, regardless of our circumstances. Whatever it is, we have the choice. We have the choice. But where is the choice? The choice is in the mind, intellect, understanding. This is very important. Hahnemann, in his chronic disease, the first medical text to clearly elucidate the changing process within life and for making path for acute, subacute, and chronic infectious disease and their sequelae. We always have a choice. The consequence may be undesirable, but we can't deny that it is our power to change anything we want. We can change with our willpower, with our understanding. This is possible, but how? How? This is the biggest question. So the moment of infection is a process of infection. The period of the time during which the whole organism is exposed to the miasma until its internal development is complete. The breaking out of the external elements that signals the complete development of miasma throughout the whole organism. When it comes in, it tries to complete its process, and when it gets established into the vital principle, it starts exhibiting its chronic nature. So chronic disease, Dr. Hahnemann writes that the infection of this miasma as well as of the acute of above mentioned disease takes place without a doubt in one single moment, and that moment the most favorable for the infection. All the acute and chronic disease have similar process of infection, depends on the susceptibility and the time of the exposure. So infection is a process. Infection is a process. Hahnemann taught that smallpox, measles, anthrax, and vaccination were a process in which the disease is dynamically communicated to the vital force through a medium of the nervous system in an instant. These miasma do not produce their eruptive lesions until the prodromal period has passed and the disease is fully established. So when a susceptible host organism receives the infection, this starts a prodromal period of 4 or 5 days before the black gangrenous blisters appear. This is a sign that deadly disease is fully established. So there are the moment of the infection, there are the incubation period, and the incubation period, after the completion of the incubation period only, we see the visibility of the disease. So from invisible to the visible, disease starts its journey. In the infection, it starts its journey from the invisibility and it moves towards the visibility. So susceptibility is the general capability of the organism to receive impressions of or the power of the organism to react to the stimuli. It is one of the fundamental attributes of the life. Upon it depends the vital process. Susceptibility is the expression of vacuum in the individual. The vacuum attracts and pulls for the things most needed that are in the same plane of vibration as the want of the body. Primarily, susceptibility is the reactions of the body to external and internal influence. Dr. Stuart Close has defined susceptibility as the general quality of capabilities of the living organism to receive impressions and the power to react to the stimuli. So susceptibility is receiving and reacting. How much how easily you react and how lately you react, it depends on your, that is known as the susceptibility. Now, vegetable kingdom, what happens to the plant? They are influenced by circumstances and environment. They react to different circumstances and environment, changes in the different ways. Some flora developing in the certain altitude when swept by the ocean to a different place may develop under an entirely different environment. The flora is able to react according to the different stimuli. Here we have to become immune to varying situations, but some may scheme to the adversary. You see the migrations. We take the seed of which is more prominent in one area, and you take that seed and plant it into the other area, it depends on the power of the vegetable kingdom, and in the for the animal also, because vegetable kingdom, the member of the vegetable kingdom are stable in nature. They don't have the emotions, but they have the emotions. So this is very important. And medicines which is belonging to the vegetable kingdom will have the similar nature. And the animal kingdom, they have the mobility. So they can withdraw, they can understand, they can hold up something, and they can face the adverse situations because they can move. They can move from the problematic area. So this is an expression of the susceptibility. The vegetable, they cannot move, but animal, they can move. So because of the movement, the animal kingdom suffer less, the vegetable kingdom suffer more. So we have the medicines like the pulsatilla, we have the medicines like the arsenicum, and pulsatilla, and these medicines are very sensitive medicines. Then we have the medicines from the animal kingdom, and they are less sensitive medicines like the laxative. Human kingdom. One person, what is meaning of the human? Human means that we have the mind. So one person will thrive in a vigorous climate where other persons will become seriously. One will thrive in dampness and other will succumb. Attitudes influences some people kindly and others. It is attitude, the variable expression in the human. Human constitutes what? It is not only animal, it is not only plant, it is the combinations of the animal and the plant. We have the stability and we have the movement. So both of the things we have the joint expressions of the vegetable kingdom and the animal kingdom. And hereditary factors is also very important. So a hereditary susceptibility, a person is inherited from his parents. It depends on the genetic background of both the parents. It is also influenced by mental conditions and circumstances during the production of sperm and ovum. And interactions of all these determine the magnetic background of the individual. So magnetic background starts from which place? It is either you can inherit or you can acquire. So inheritance and acquirance. Inheritance and acquirance, the two factors, major factors for becoming ill. So environmental factors. Then the third factor is the environmental factors. Early environmental factors involve conditions pertaining to the intrauterine life and influences or indulgence during gestation period may affect the development of susceptibility to the individual. Worry, disease, tension, smoking, alcohol, malnutrition, etc. Then late environmental effects development susceptibility. This involves the influence during childhood and adulthood. Example, fright during childhood, nutrition and indulgence, smoking, tobacco, chewing, alcohol, worries and anxiety. So third factor is also important, the aging factor. The appearance of many people well recognized disease of the aging tends to mask a similar rising in the susceptibility of the aged to the infection. There are network of the factors in the aging body, including degenerative changes and the declining immune response that interacts with the compound, and compound each other to markedly increase susceptibility of the infection. Then factors which can change your susceptibility. With the age, the susceptibility gets changed. The children are more susceptible, whereas the adult people are not susceptible like that. And again, the children, old age, they are more susceptible. Then constitution and temperament are the susceptible factors, which is very important. Then habits and environment and pathological conditions and previous abuse of the medicine. So these factors are modifying our susceptibility. Susceptibility is expressed in physical, psychological, and sexual levels. That is the affinity, attraction, desire, needs, and hunger. These are the basic elements for the human life. Affinity, then attraction. getting attracted, desire, our need and hunger. So they are the physical and psychological. At the physical level, mental level, and the sexual level, we have the affinity, we have the attractions, we have the desire, we have the needs and the hunger. Then susceptibility means the quality of the vital force. What type of the vital force is there? It is dependent on your susceptibility also, and it is your modifying factor. So these are expressed normally and are satisfied by the individual. But when they become morbid and perverted, then disease, suffering, and death occurs. They can also be altered by suitable modifying agents, that is, drugs. These expressions of susceptibility can be taken as general of the patient during case taking, and thus the natural susceptibility of the patient will be found out. So we have to find out the natural exact nature of the susceptibility, and that will be the primary factors for being a practitioner. So type of the susceptibility. Natural susceptibility or the normal susceptibility, what Dr. Roberts says. Reactions to stimuli under the healthy conditions of the individual could be recognized by the reaction of the individual to the physical environment, food, remedy, and defense to the toxic agent. The very important thing that we all have the different requirements. One may be affected by the cold food, one other may be getting better by the cold food, and similarly many things are like that. So natural susceptibility is the power of the organism to react defensively to a toxin, a contagion or an infection, and to react constructively to food and drink and curatively to the homeopathic remedy. So artificial susceptibility. Now can we speak about the artificial susceptibility in the lecture to the homeopathic philosophy. When medicines are given, they are act for some time, satisfying the susceptibility. They alter the susceptibility, and when that dose of medicine is no longer able to act or alter susceptibility, another dose of the potency is required. So artificial susceptibility is created by the medicines also, and that is also responsible for creating the changes in the pattern of the artificial disease also. Then there are the morbid susceptibility. Susceptibility may become morbid and perverted under conditions of disease, suffering, and death. According to the Stuart Lodge, morbid susceptibility could be regarded as a state of negative or minus conditions, a state of lowered resistance. So morbid susceptibility because of the lowered resistance. Then altered susceptibility, it is the defective stimuli or to react stimuli are to exaggerated diminished way. So reaction is an expression of the susceptibility. How we react? We have the two ways to react: excessive reactions or the deficient reaction. Excessive reactions or irritability is a condition sometimes met when a patient seems to suffer an aggravation from every medicine without corresponding improvement. Now there is another important term that we use to see, that is idiosyncrasy. It is a constitutional reaction which makes a peculiar constitution predisposed to peculiar agent even in very much minute quantity at all the time. So deficient reactions may occur in cases where improvement is found to cease and well-selected remedies is to act. So lack of the vital principle reactions is important rubrics that you can see in the repertory. Under such circumstances, it is necessary to give some intercurrent remedy. Diminished susceptibility. Susceptibility can be diminished by forcefully using heterogeneous medicines, antitoxins, antiseptic, external applications, vaccination, use of stimulants and antidepressants like alcohol, brandy, and inoculations or of crude pathological products like animal sera and vaccines may lead to the diminution of the susceptibility. So overdosing and using the heterogeneous medication, which is not compatible to your life, they reduces your susceptibility. and destruction of it is total destruction of the susceptibility, means total destruction of the reactivity of the body or death. Partial destructions of susceptibility means serious impairment that makes the patient chronically invalid and become impossible to cure. Coma and suspended animations occur due to the partial destruction of the susceptibility. So clinical assessment of susceptibility helps us in determining the potency, dose, and also the repetition of the remedy. While assessing susceptibility, one should bear in mind its modifying factors like age, habit, environment, pathological conditions, idiosyncrasy, and homeopathy also. So clinical assessment of the so these conditions are they help you when you understand the susceptibility. That will help you to understand the potency, your dosage, the repetitions. These things are told. It is the law are adapted. Law are made to be adapted for at the individual level. Then it can be assessed. You can understand the susceptibility because of the as a Jar's law. Jar's law. The more similar remedy, the more clearly and positively symptoms of the patient takes on the peculiar and characteristic form of the remedy. The greater is the susceptibility to that remedy, and higher is the potency. So when you have the totality is very close, you require the higher potency. This is the Jar's law for the totality. The practical bearing of this on the selection of potency or the dosage is that in a given case where the symptoms are not clearly developed and there is absence or scarcity of characteristic features, or where 2 or 3 remedies seems about equal indication susceptibility, reactions may be regarded as low. So we can use the low potency when there are we don't have the complete totality. We give the remedy which seems more similar in the low potency, but when the symptoms of a case clearly indicate one remedy, whose characteristic symptoms correspond closely to the characteristic symptoms of the case, we give the higher potency. So knowledge of susceptibility, it helps you in assessing the attitude and reactions of a living being to varying environmental conditions. Personality and behavioral traits could be understood by knowing his affinity and attractions and desire and the needs. This helps in making and maintaining the interpersonal relationship. Bearing of hardship and its effects, the effects of the joy, pleasure, surprises, good news, and success upon the individual. His attitudes and reactions toward adversity, etc., could be understood. This will help us in individualizing the person, helps us to understand his constitutional makeup and his temperament and his miasmatic background. So friends, it is this is very much relevant for understanding the patient, and survival of the patient in the climatic and in the pollution. So in a diseased person, the knowledge of susceptibility helps us in satisfying the morbid susceptibility by giving simillimum living organism in much more susceptible to homogeneous or similar stimuli. Selection of similar depends on the susceptibility, and for simillimum correspond to the more peculiar and characteristic feature of the drug, therefore make the individual highly susceptible to the drug. In selection of the dosage and potency, the knowledge of the kind and degree of the susceptibility is very important. So clinical utility, ability to modify the susceptibility. The ability to modify the susceptibility, the physicians know how to modify susceptible in such cases such a way as to satisfy the requirement of the sick organism and bring about a true cure. Then he is a physician indeed. For cure consists of simply satisfying the morbid susceptibility of the organism. So physicians should know how to maintain normal susceptibility and should also know the factors which can hinder the natural susceptibility. The physician should never react to any method that will diminish or destroy his susceptibility. So during the time of Hahnemann, old school adopted many torturous methods which did nothing to advance the process of cure but contributed to the lowering of the resistance of the susceptibility. So unnatural medications, they reduces the susceptibility. Such methods, such as a specific derivative, repellent, medications, counter irritant, stimulations, and strengthening agents, mixture, prescriptions, etc., against which Hahnemann fought with an undaunted energy. So has been always way. The physician should be able to correctly assess the patient's susceptibility. He must not waste his time by involvement measures with the imaginary idea of the violence. When susceptibility is lowered, when everything indicates that life and strength are at lowest ebb and store of vital energy is almost exhausted, the physician should not use any violence but should treat in a mildest and most delicate way. Proper use of stimulant is adjustable, but physiological drugs stimuli should be legitimately filled only in exceedingly smaller or the rare instances. Now, let us see there are all these things that you can understand. I can find it in your in the repertory also. Synthesis repertory, there are very large, it consists of very many of the rubrics which are related to your weather, pollution, and susceptibility. Regarding to the weather changes, there is a big rubric under the general chapter of the generative chapter, which is weather change of the weather aggregate, and under that sub rubrics are there: cold to warm, warm to cold, rapid change aggregates, spring aggravates, warm aggravates, cold aggravates, wet weather aggravates, clear weather aggravates. So these rubrics are available and the corresponding medicines are there. You can go get a better idea. Because I am pointing out these rubrics only because it makes you assure, makes you feel confident that there are the instruments, there are the way out to select the medicines, and don't get feared that what to do for bringing on the totality. Then allergic constitution, big rubrics you can find under the genetic chapter, allergic constitution. So, and under the nose, hay fever is there. Stomach, vomiting, allergy from, these are the rubrics, and skin, allergy, so many rubrics are related here. Then airborne disease, it is under the nose there is hay fever, it is airborne disease. We are talking about that. We have the rubrics, we have the answers. The homeopathy have got a great armamentarium in the repertory. Then season. We have the various seasons and the medicines which respond according to the season. Autumn aggravates, spring aggravates, ameliorates, summer aggravates, winter aggravates. Then sedentary habits, sensitiveness, mind sensitive, and at the physical level also there is a sensitiveness. So these rubrics are very important. And then remedies, rubrics related to the medicines, sensitive to the medicine. Then pollution. This word is already exists in our repertory. Pollution aggravate, bulbar from, paralysis. These are the rubrics that you can see in your repertory. The pollution aggravate under the generality chapter. Then food poisoning, another big rubric that is related to the pollution and the climatic change. There are large number of the medicines. Earlier it was only arsenicum. Now we have the many more rubrics, the many more medicines with the food poisoning. And besides this, under the food and drinks chapter, you will have large number, every substance like the fish aggravate, fish ameliorates, meat aggravates, meat ameliorates, rice aggravates, rice ameliorates, sweet aggravates, sweet ameliorates. Like this, they are also related to the poisoning factors. Then delicate constitutions. About the constitutions also, we have the big number of the rubrics. delicate constitutions, the children, different mind, and different status are there. So old people, this is also very important rubric when you are considering, because you have the medicines for the, and the old people, different type of the old people are there. There are some people are prematurely they are old. There are the people who are young people and they look like the old. So this is very important rubric in your. So friends, it is wonderful understanding that we can get from understanding the environment, and we can contribute a better to the humanity and the suffering humanity for becoming right up with the get out of from the problem. And we can we as a homeopath have better opportunity to contribute for the climatic and the effects and the pollution effects in the society, because we have the understanding about the pollution not only from the outside pollution, but the pollution that are visible and invisible pollution, and the pollutions that are within the mind also. So we have the wide range of the pollutions, and beyond the pollution of the understanding, universal understanding, we have the understanding, different understandings for the pollution. Then we have the different understanding for the climatic change. We don't feel that the climatic change is not possible. Climatic change is always constant. You have to learn with the climatic changes. So with these thoughts of understanding, I just we have just come to the end of this session, and I thank you all for being with us. And if you have any questions, you can find us at risdth@gmail.com, WhatsApp number 9431020622. So thank you very much.